Hello everyone, I'm CoolGuy, welcome back. Today is actually my second video covering Beyond Light. The first one has already been published to PC Gamer, it's on their channel. I go over the Stasis unlock, each subclass's skill tree, neutral game, the aspects for each subclass, and all the fragments. I was actually able to test and show 4 of those fragments, so go check it out, there's a link down below to the article and video. As for me, I've been grinding, I've been keeping the outside noise kind of away, just been playing the expansion, having a good time, been enjoying it. And I think we would all agree that Stasis has turned the sandbox upside down. With what I want to highlight today, it's what I believe, hands down, is one of the most powerful things I've ever seen in the Crucible. Seriously, in all of the years. There's a lot to take in as to what you're seeing in the background, what you saw in the opening, and I'll get into the specifics in a moment. The focus of today's video is the Whisper of Hedron fragment. I fully expect this fragment to be used going forward. It's a very, very strong PvP fragment, the best PvP fragment from what I've seen, and it's really good in PvE as well. I have a small section for PvE later on, but this video is mostly about the Crucible. The fragment states, gain a bonus to weapon damage after freezing a target with stasis. This was the first fragment that I picked, and it was due to the frequency of this. I mean, be it by grenade, melee, super, you have tons of opportunities to freeze targets. Think about the cold snap grenade, think about supers, think about the warlock's freeze melee. It happens a lot, it happens a ton, and after you freeze that target with this fragment, your weapon deals 25% more damage. The moment that you freeze them, a timer starts from 10, and for 10 seconds, you hold on to this 25% more damage until it runs out. If you freeze another target within that duration, it's going to reset it. Here's the crazy part with that. With this percentage, it's enough to push some weapons to be a one-shot. It makes high-impact snipers have a one-shot body shot. It can make certain bows like Monarch one-shot headshot. For a high-impact sniper, it takes the body damage from 158 to 197, Monarch goes to 189, then has the burn damage. There is no reason not to use this fragment when you're in the Crucible. It's something I see everyone using. And yes, I'm talking about one-shots, but it just gives that flat 25% that you run around with for 10 seconds. It makes the 120 hand cannons 2-tap after you get the buff, and if you have Rampage, you can just kill the frozen target, already have a 1-stack and this buff to keep going. As far as the sniper rifles, you can use any sniper in the game, Bite of the Fox and so on, but hands down the best is Borealis. And I know, here comes CoolGuy talking about Borealis again. I discussed it last week that Borealis is jacked. And in that video, I went over the perk, everything that it has to offer, its base stats, how it works with Charge with Light, and how it's really appreciated in the Crucible. And I said that maybe going forward, if it did a one-shot body with all of its perks and all this, it might be a little bit overboard if it got buffed, but with this fragment, it's going to allow you to one-shot body shot with 197. So Borealis, great base stats. One of the main things with its exotic perk is that each time that you land a bullet in the body, in the head, once you land a bullet, a round from the reserve gets loaded right back in. You could have only 1 round in the magazine and 16 in reserve. As long as you're hitting body shots or headshots, it will just keep at 1. So if you have ammo in the reserves, or you keep picking up bricks as you're moving to new angles with your sniper and you have this perk, you can run around for 10 seconds just body shotting players. Just never have to reload. Insanely powerful. The same goes for the bow, and the bow might be one of the better ones, because all you do is tag someone with something that freezes, you freeze them, you get the buff, and you just hunt for that duration. The Monarch does 1 shot to the head. Trinity Ghoul is also crazy, because when you get that lightning rod, the damage goes to 65 per arrow. And remember, the lightning rod with the catalyst, it can chain off of itself, so with the max draw, that lightning rod does 63 damage when you shoot it off the floor, off the wall, when it starts chaining 2 enemies. You don't even have to hit them, it can down lower resilience. If they're grouped up, the chain will kill the surrounding enemies off of the main target that you hit. It's going to down them. I have this fragment paired with Whisper of Fissures. That's the second one that I chose. It increases the damage and size of the burst of stasis when you destroy a crystal or frozen target. So when enemies are close, you kill one, it explodes. This fragment actually helps with collaterals, because it's increasing the damage and size of that burst going out. It's an elite pairing. And in PvE, like I said, you get the damage buff all the time. There are multiple frozen enemies and crystals in PvE, and there's a ton of those crystals, especially when you're with a fire team. You just kind of live with that 25% buff going on. You have your debuffs and your buffs, it's great. But again, the craziest part to me is that this is just kind of built into Stasis. There's no exotics that are needed, there's no mods, there's no penalty. You just obtain the fragment and you slap it on. And once you do, all of a sudden, you throw a grenade across the map, you tag and freeze, then you start one-shotting everything. And I don't use those words overpowered, but this is because when you know what you're doing, you know how the abilities work, you know how to set yourself up, you can go on long streaks. and it would be really different if it was difficult to do, but it isn't. You can do it multiple times a game. I don't have the Warlock done, but that melee, imagine that with the Claws of Ahamkara for 2 charges. You freeze the target, you get the damage boost, you kill the frozen enemy, and you go. Because it's essentially built into the sub, you can still add on the mods, add on the exotics, set yourself up for success. And more than likely, things like Monte Carlo, Traveler's Chosen. And in a lot of these clips, you're seeing True Prophecy, the 120 hand cannon with Demolitionist, and I'm running max discipline. So it's a sub 1 minute cooldown with tier 10 discipline, and each time I'm getting kills with True Prophecy, it's helping chunk that grenade cooldown. That means I'm getting the Cold Snap grenade a ton. I haven't gone through all the weapons, but the bow and sniper really stand out. Borealis stands out the most because it keeps throwing ammo back into the magazine. You are to be feared when you have this damage buff with Borealis. But I couldn't believe it. I've been playing with this, and I don't see too many people using it. I haven't been one-shot by the bow, things like that. But with how Stasis is playing out, it's something to kind of talk about in the comment section. I almost made an entire video with this. It's already to the point that it's going to be beneficial for Bungie to go back and update the old subclasses. Maybe give those light aspects and fragments, because as it stands right now, the full kit of Stasis, what it brings, the crowd control, slowing, freezing, shattering, the entire kit is above and beyond. Not to mention, there are still more aspects and fragments to go out and find. There's more weapons to pair. And I'm going to be looking at these other fragments, test them, dive into them, but I don't ever see myself taking off this fragment for the Crucible. It's always going to be on me. I'm never taking it off. It's way too powerful, way too beneficial, and also it's very easy to proc. I could see them nerfing the PvP damage to 20% or 50%, or maybe match it with high energy fire with what Charge with Light gives. Because if everyone started using this, you're going to find out real fast how strong it is. I get a good amount of hate mail because I do YouTube, but today was extra special. The bags were more plentiful. So maybe this weekend, if you're getting your first or your second fragment, even if you're a PvE player, because this one's good to have there too, but if you're a PvP player, I dare say it's essential. I still haven't used things like trace rifles. There's a lot of weapons that I do want to use, and kill clip weapons, things like that. But I just wanted to bring this fragment to your attention. There's a ton of content that I'm working on, and this is actually the first thing that I wanted to get out on my channel. I can't believe how strong this is. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Channel memberships are live if you'd like to support me there. And also, if you're looking for a new controller, I am partnered with Scuff Gaming. You can use the link down below and use my code COOL at checkout for a discount. There's also a link to my Discord down below. We have a very chill group, and if you're looking for people to play with or to talk Destiny with, you're more than welcome to join. Let's talk about this fragment and all the other fragments and Stasis in general down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.